Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes discussing the way that timeshares are perceived and how we can change our thinking to think more in terms of the teachings of Robert Kiyosaki and thinking in terms of investments rather than expenses and doodads. For example, we buy timeshares for the lifestyle, for the ability to go and travel on vacations, to spend time with our families, and we perceive them as an investment. Whereas in reality it isn't, because an investment in terms of the definition according to Kiyosaki is that something that provides or is generating income for you. So let's just take a look at, for example, my timeshare. And I'm saying I do have a timeshare, and I'm going to show you where it is, okay? So my timeshare is actually here in Florida. It's Vacation Village, Meisner Place. And I just want to show you a bit about what happens in terms of if you change your perspective. So what happens if I change my perception and really look at my timeshare in terms as an investment versus an expense, okay? So when you think of an investment, it's supposed to bring you back cash, and an expense is actually taking cash away. So in terms of a timeshare, what is the reality here? Well, the reality is it's actually an expense, okay? Because you're paying your upfront investment fee, your cost to purchase your timeshare, which in my case is a certain amount of money, and I'll get to that on the next page. But you're paying that upfront, and that you can amortize over the life of your timeshare, for example, as a mortgage or something like that. But then every year you're also paying a maintenance fee. So that is an out-of-pocket expense every year. Now, whether or not you'd go on vacation is irrelevant because that expense is going to be there anyway. Okay, so let's just go take a look, for example, at this here. So for example, now in my case, let's just say that my timeshare cost me an upfront cost of $10,000, okay? In addition to that, I'm paying an annual maintenance fee of, and I'm going to be very conservative here, let's just say $500, okay? So basically what I'm doing here is over, let's say, 25 years, I will be out of pocket, and are you getting this so far? $22,500. Okay. If this was an investment, I have to be back in pocket this amount of money in order for it to be considered, if you look at it in terms of time and money, over time I should be making the money and then at some point in time break even so that I'm in the black. So here I'm in the red, and then whoops, I go back in the black. Okay, so that being said, now the only way that that can happen is if I were to rent my timeshare and not use it during that period. So in order to do that, now let's just go back to my $22,500 expense. If I want to recoup that expense and rent my timeshare, my rent would have to be, I get this, $900. I would have to not use my timeshare and rent it for $900 every year for 25 years. So my question to you, is a timeshare an investment or is it an expense? Is it reasonable to think that I will be able to rent my timeshare every year for 25 years for at least $900? I don't think so. So then the question is, well, how can I? Well, you can probably rent it for something. Let's say, for example, you rented it for $1,000 one year, and then another year you rented it for $700, and then another year you rented it for $500, and then another year you rented it for $650, and then another year for $900, and then another year for... You would have to be managing this to make sure that you reach that break-even point of $900 a year for 25 years. So it's a lot of hassle. And let's say, for example, you have a broker manage it for you. Well, then they're taking their cut. Now let's just go see how much my timeshare actually rents for. And what's pretty neat is I found my timeshare. Here it is. Okay, so I found my timeshare. The management resort actually has the timeshare, and I found it online. And I have a 2-bedroom unit. So a 2-bedroom unit for 1 week rents for $1,463. Now this is how much they're charging. This is not how much they're paying me. Now let's say, for example, they'll pay me 50% of that. So they're actually only going to pay me $700 and change, $730. That is not equal to the 900 that I need. Okay? So I hope this clarifies a bit for you. Now let's go back to Kiyosaki's Quadrant and position ourselves again. So what we were saying before was we were in the impression that with a timeshare we're here, but really we're not. Okay? We're actually here. We are spending money and it's not generating cash. So here on the left side it's cash out. On the right side it's cash in. Okay? So we've got to find a way to move from the cash out to the cash in. So what I'd like you to do is go check out traveldebtfree.com, and I'll put the link for you below, traveldebtfree.com, and you can find a way to move from the cash out to the cash in. I'm Patrick Pressoir. You have a great night.